Welcome back to our channel. Today we will bring to viewers the shocking and dramatic developments of Beyond the Gates, aired on Thursday, June 5th. Ted is no longer the one who just stands in the dark pulling the strings like before. Now, he has taken a bold step forward, facing Eva directly and not hesitating to put pressure on her to tell the truth. The tense gazes between them and the empty office are a place where the tension seems like it could explode at any moment. Eva is usually a reserved person, always keeping herself at a distance from everyone, but this time she is pushed to the wall. Ted's eyes do not reveal any emotions, but each of his words is like a knife piercing straight into her mind. Eva knew he was referring to the accident, a fateful rainy night, the car going out of control. Laura passed out on the road, and the panic that drove her to hide the boots and the helmet, items that had belonged to her mother, Leslie. She had hidden them deep in the shed, where no one would think to look, and all this time she had lived in fear of the truth being revealed. What puzzled everyone was Eva's hesitation. She was not without evidence, but something was keeping her from turning them in to the police. Was it because of her mother? Leslie was not an easy person to read. Beneath her elegant exterior, she always hid secrets that made others shudder. Eva had believed she could control everything, but the pressure was mounting, especially when Jacob had obtained a search warrant. This nearly broke Eva. Kat had not expected Jacob to act so quickly. She had prepared herself for an investigation, but when the results came back, there was no evidence linking her to Leslie. Still, Kat's instincts told her something was wrong. Had the police been misled? Had Leslie wiped out all traces? Kat began to panic, because she knew her mother was not one to give up easily. Leslie was always one step ahead of everyone, and if she had done something wrong, she would have a plan to get away with it. Meanwhile, Andre, whom Kat had always considered a distant cousin, had been secretly investigating Leslie. Not only did he take a close-up photo of her as she left a secure area, but he also claimed to have software to match her face to a video taken from a hospital security camera where Laura had been treated after the accident. This put Leslie in a dangerous position, especially if the video was indeed legally valid. Kat was completely stunned when she discovered that Andre was acting behind her back. But the more she thought about it, the more she understood that he did it not because of personal hatred but because he wanted to bring the truth to light. However, if Leslie was exposed, Kat would lose not only her mother but also her belief in everything she had thought was true. Laura, after a long period of treatment, returned with a forced smile and a strong appearance. Everyone welcomed her with a small party, but in her eyes there was still a fear that was hard to describe. That accident not only left a physical scar but also a psychological obsession that was not easy to erase. In a moment of solitude, Laura closed her eyes and remembered the sound of being hit, the cold feeling of lying on the road, and the figure running away. She knew someone was hiding something, but she could not be sure who it was. Her doubts lead her to an unlikely source, Sharon, once her bitter rival but now the only person who can give her unbiased advice. Anita, in a moment of weakness, confesses to Vernon the truth she has kept hidden for years. Barbara, their best friend and founding member of the legendary band, was forced out of the group by the producer in a dirty plot. Unable to bear the shock and abandonment, Barbara chose death. The story is a scar that Anita has always avoided, but now, as the band plans to reunite, the ghosts of the past come flooding back. Vernon is stunned to hear that. He once believed their group was a symbol of friendship and passion for music, but the truth is tinged with betrayal and despair. Worse, Sharon, who has never forgiven Anita for what happened to Barbara, is now a ticking time bomb. She always appeared calm on the outside, but inside she was filled with hatred. Reuniting the group would mean facing all the unhealed wounds, and Sharon wasn't sure she could do that. And Anita, after revealing her secret, sank deeper into guilt. She wondered if she deserved forgiveness, and if so, who had the right to do it. All roads lead back to Leslie, a cold, reserved woman who seems to be present in every incident. Secrets begin to rise to the surface, relationships that seemed strong are shaken day by day. No one knows whether Eva has the courage to face her mother or will continue to keep silent. Ted, with ruthless persistence, continues to pressure Eva, leaving her with no choice but to act. Jacob, while trying to follow the clues, begins to realize that he is investigating not only an accident, but also a web of secrets, lies, and sins buried for a long time. Andre, even with evidence in hand, is still uncertain whether revealing the truth will save Kat or cause her family to collapse completely. And then, on another rainy night, just like that fateful night, Leslie stands in front of the large mirror in the empty room. She stared at herself, her eyes were fearless. She knew what was coming. But she also knew that, to survive, sometimes you don't need to be innocent. Just don't get caught. In the following days, things began to move faster. Andre submitted the encrypted video and comparison software to the investigation team, hoping they would analyze the image traces. However, an unexpected incident occurred. The software crashed after detecting malware in the system. Andre suspected that someone had known about his movements and was deliberately sabotaging them. Ted became more and more adamant, believing that if the legal system was breached, the only way to force the truth to come out was to use public opinion. He began to spread information that alluded to Leslie without mentioning her name, causing a media frenzy and public uproar. Eva, meanwhile, quietly left home for a few days. She returns to the small cabin where her father lived as a young man. There, she is confronted for the first time with a childhood memory of Leslie threatening a woman for revealing her secret. That scene, which she thought had faded, now comes back clearly in Eva's mind. She begins to understand that if she does not stand up, Leslie may continue to hurt others, including Kat herself. When Eva returns, she makes an irrevocable decision to hand over the evidence. But in the meantime, an unexpected family meeting takes place. Leslie, calm as ever, declares that someone is making up stories to discredit her, and will sue those who spread false information. She presents documents proving that she was in another city on the night of the accident, causing everyone to fall into crisis. It is then that Sharon speaks up. She holds up a purple scrap of fabric that once belonged to the dress Leslie wore to a hospital party the night of the accident, a dress that does not appear in the documents Leslie provided. Although the piece of fabric is small, it could open a new door to the investigation. Eva looks at Sharon with gratitude, and for the first time, the two women who were once enemies are now on the same side. The gates of the past are no longer closed. Those who were thought to be silent are now speaking. The truth, albeit slowly, is finding its way out of the darkness. Please follow and subscribe to our channel to update the next exciting developments of Beyond the Gates in the upcoming episodes.